is going on for the state family? Seminole Nation, N863 Tribe. Is your boy POLK, a.k.a. a.k.a. the goddamn truth. Hope y'all are doing well. This holiday season, we are nearing closer to Christmas, and I don't know how y'all feel, but we're gonna find out tonight about FSU's Christmas presents and departures so far in this early off season. I told you guys this was going to be an off season to remember. It was going to be interesting, exciting, fun, maybe depressing for some. I don't know. But as always, hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Get in that comment section. You're on episode 111 of the Hangover, and we're going to go over this off season. This very short so far and new off season, and FSU's made a lot of moves, man. Some for the better, maybe some head scratchers. Y'all gonna find out where I stand, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna find out where some of y'all stand. Hit the like button, get in here, and we're gonna get it cracking here shortly. But of course, we got to pay the bills, and we got to hit the roll call up. So get it in the comment section so you can make the roll call. And again, like, subscribe, share. I repeat, like, subscribe, and share. You are on the most interactive show for the Florida State football fan, 863 Seminole TV. So don't hesitate. Let's get in here, man. And again, y'all know how we do over here. Nothing but the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat too much. I'm not going to. Y'all already know how I rock. So don't come in here surprised if I'm upset about some things, happy about some other things. I'm not going to tell you any lies. I'm just going to tell you what I think, what I believe, and we can get it cracking. So I'm just giving people time to get in the comments. We do have a super chat, so we can go ahead and knock this super chat out the way right now. From my man Knowles 850 with the $9.99 says, "What up, POLK? Hit me with Jamie Robb." I got you. Hold on? Do I have Jamie? Yeah, I do. I got you.
Bitch, be humble. Bitch, sit down. Be humble.
All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's hit a quick roll call, man, and let's get into the topics at hand. I got Peter Shields in the building, Priscilla Chestnut, Island Boy. I'm an Island Boy. Pistino, Momo, Joe, Briley. I see your questions, Briley. Give me a second. Tony, Tyler, of course, 850, South Florida, Noel, William in the building all so far. And as you continue to trickle in, go ahead and get in that comment section. And of course, I will shout you out, Vontae, out here in these streets, in these 863 streets. You know what, guys? I can't read that. I'm changing the font. I mean, I can read cursive, POLK, 2 questions, but I don't want to get it. I don't want to strain my eyes. Let's change the font here. There we go. POLK, 2 questions. What do you think about FSU essentially adopting USC's offensive staff and Nebraska's defensive staff, for that matter? We're going to get into that. What's up with repeating the last visit portal strategy? Did we not learn our lesson last year? The second question, I'm not so sure what you mean when you say, what's up with repeating the last visit portal strategy? Are you talking about kind of how recruiting used to go, where the rule of thumb in recruiting used to be follow the visits. The team that got the last visit was usually the favorite. Are you speaking about that, Briley, and you think that doesn't necessarily work in the portal, or are you referring to something else? Just for some clarity there. But I can answer the first question for you, at least try to. This is going to lead into obviously our conversation, so we'll lead off with the first question. What do I think about FSU essentially adopting the UCF offensive staff? So if you're not aware, let's get into it. Herb Hand from UCF, O-line coach. The wide receiver coach also from UCF, Tim Harris, is it? I believe. Yes, Tim Harris Jr., passing game coordinator and wide receivers coach. Those are the two new additions to the offensive staff. Looks like Coach Yak and Coach Tokars are going nowhere. It's an interesting. I've been on the record. I'm pretty fond of the coordinating hires. I know I say over and over the Gus Malzahn hire is one of those polarizing hires where you either love or hate it, and I understand it. I personally, I tend to lean towards being in favor of the Gus Malzahn hire. Now the question becomes wide receiver. We talked about here's the crux of this. We talked about bringing recruiters on staff. So we got Tim Harris, we got Herb Hand. Are they going to go out here and put FSU in positions to be again landing blue chip caliber players? Great question. I don't necessarily. It's hard to judge like UCF and go, well, they recruited like this there, right? So they're going to recruit like, you can say what you want about UCF. The logo's different, man. You get that Seminole logo on you, and you should be in the game for a certain caliber of player. It will remain to be seen. From a numbers standpoint, UCF did not have a terrible offense last year. Now they are a running identity. I think FSU is going to be a power run football team. That's kind of been Gus Malzahn's staple. So that's what I expect. And obviously we'll talk about the quarterback edition. If you don't know, you're about to find out. As FSU does have a transfer portal quarterback that has agreed to play for Florida State this upcoming season in 25. I'll say this. It's hard for me to be excited about any of the additions as far as the staff on the offensive side. I guess it just kind of remains to be seen how this offense looks. That's kind of the best way I can answer that for you, broadly. But you did elaborate on that second question. You said the staff is asking for the last visit, but many of these portal guys sign and never take later visits. We missed out on several last year. Seems poised to do it all over again. So, yeah, you were kind of referring to what I was saying as far as the last visit. And does that even – I will agree. I don't think the last visit is important as it used to be. There used to be a time where you got the last visit and it mattered. I think a lot of these young men, I believe they – and specifically the higher profile players, they enter the portal with an idea in mind of their destination. A lot of these guys aren't hitting the portal with no idea. I would say very few of them hit the portal with zero idea of where they're going. So it's hard for me to go that it's not a good. I think what you're seeing so far in the portal, and this is kind of the best way I can answer this personally. I think what you're seeing so far in the portal is a 2-10 program and portal players just being reserved to get into that mix. I will say this: the one thing that is really questioning me, I'm not so down on the coaching hires as I am down so far on the player acquisitions and the guys we're going to talk about that Florida State has acquired so far. Not a lot, but I have some questions. Where's the resources? I know Battle's End is trying to do their damnness. I get it, man. I am actually a fan of Ingram Smith. I'm a fan of him, and I appreciate the work he's put in. And believe it or not, I'm a fan of everything that they are trying to accomplish over there at the Battle's End. But I'm really questioning and I don't know how much the Battle's End has a say in what players are targeted. I have a big question on Mike Norvell and what he's looking for. I know that brings up the Ray conversation, and as the general manager, whatever that name is, that position he is, I know you ask it comes down to he's the one who's, I guess, scouting these guys or whatever the case. Maybe there is some validity to that. So let's just get right into it. So far, you're bringing Marcusson Douglas back, Biscuit. I got to be honest, I'm not excited about that. I think that is a inconsequential move at this point. I understand that they are looking to add tight ends because Jackson West has hit the portal finally. Brian Courtney has hit the portal finally. Powers has hit the portal finally. That's 3, by the way. And we're going to go down my list that I made the other night where we went over that. But those 3 have already been knocked out. So I get it, right? You do have to add some tight ends. And that was probably an easy tight end to bring in, as he's a guy who was once upon a time a Seminole, went to Arizona State, didn't really have an impact there at all. And has circled the wagon and made it back. Sorry, I'm looking for Jackson West's name so I can cross him off my list. I know for a fact I had him on. Courtney Powers West. But that's, again, that's a tight end. You do need some bodies in there. It might have been just an easy, cheap option. I can kind of understand the Marcusson Douglas thing. Doesn't really rub me the wrong way. I think y'all might know my feelings on this quarterback. I don't understand. I understand that schematically, I guess this is a fit. This is a mobile guy. I'm not so much worried about the height. I hear a lot of people talking about the height, and I don't too much care about that. I'm just more so looking at we're gonna have to come to the terms, FSU fans, that elite quarterback prospects probably aren't, unless they're elite dual threat guys, probably aren't looking at this team, this program in the near future for sure. That 2020, I think it's a 2026 guy that they have committed. I forget his name, Brady something. I forget. He's probably decommitting. He hasn't decommitted yet, but you can write that on the wall. The scheme doesn't, I'm not surprised that Luke Coleman Hope hit the transfer portal for in the grand scheme of things. Did I want him to hit? No, because I thought you invested the way the end of the season played out. I felt like you were investing for him, but I also understand from Luke's camp, not so much the money thing, which I don't know if the money thing is true or if that was just a play. But I do understand Luke going, well, I didn't sign up to play in this type of offense. I'm not sure this type of offense fits my skill set, and him wanting to go elsewhere. Doesn't bother me so much as it bothers me that you're Mike Norvell, you know what you currently have on your team, and you chose to go with Gus. So the Luke thing to me couldn't not have been a surprise from a competent football coach, because you probably had to understand that he wouldn't vibe with that fit. Like, college football is going to that degree of the NFL to where if you're not conversating with like your top guys on potential fits, you're probably not doing this thing right. And even more so in college ball, because unlike the NFL, these guys are signed to contracts. These young men will hit the transfer portal in the blink of an eye. And now you're scrambling to fill up a room. Remains to be seen what's going to happen from Brock Glenn. Again, we just mentioned Luke Cromenholt is up out of here. And yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know if the visits play that, to kind of circle all that back to that last part of that question. I don't know if the visits are much of a thing as it is. Where do we? You obviously see the identity, so I can't say that we don't have an identity. When you bring in Castellanos, we know what the identity of this football team is going to be offensively. I think that's what that is. I just struggle. Like, was he the best dual threat? Like, I don't know. I don't know. And as you can see, I'm struggling with it because I don't have warm and fuzzies about this. Same way I didn't have warm and fuzzies about DJU. The only difference is I tried to talk myself into DJU, saying, well, if they use them a certain way, it can be successful. Now I'm looking at it and I'm saying I'm just going to let it play out and see how it plays, because I did a post on Twitter that actually blew up pretty big. It had like 500 likes or whatever. So it's pretty big Twitter post. Well, I said all along we called Mario Cristobal the quarterback killer. And to me, it looks like Mike Norvell's a quarterback killer, in my opinion. The quarterback evals for Mike Norvell have been astronomically bad, guys. I can't sugarcoat it. I can't try to spin it in a way to make you feel good about it. Just look at them. And I don't care. Don't come in here and tell me what he did at Memphis, because that has no effect on what he's done since he's been wearing this logo and wearing these colors. I don't care what happened at Memphis. I don't care what evals he had at Memphis. Since he's been at Florida State, the man has not recruited and or acquired a quarterback worth a nickel. That is not negative talk. That is not an agenda. That is an unadulterated fact. We can go down the list, my people, from Tate to Brock to Milton to Purdy to Duffy. The evaluation of that quarterback have been disgusting, to say the least. So for me to have faith in TC, I promise you I don't. I said when we hired Gus, what was the main thing I said? I said I like the Gus Malzahn hire, but when's the last time Gus has evaluated a proper quarterback? The defensive back he turned QB a decade ago? Yeah, that would be the answer. So we'll see, man. That TC can always get on the field, shut me up, and turn me into a liar. But I don't have anything to come on here and be positive about that. I'm not a fan of it. I'm just telling you that right now. It just is what it is. There's a long history, 5 years worth, going on 6 of Mike Norvell and quarterbacks, and it's god awful. And I actually think without Jordan Travis and him just already being on the roster, Mike Norvell would be fired already. Mike Norvell would be fired already if he didn't inherit Jordan Travis. Does anyone want to disagree with that? Because I don't think you can. That's how bad it's been. So we'll see, man. Probably not the most positive way y'all wanted to start off the stream, but I just got to tell you what I feel. And here we are. So far in the transfer portal, we've had just some of the names that I mentioned and that have actually hit. Tamawai Durajai, gone. DeMarco Ward, gone. Jaden Jones, gone. Of course, Brian Courtney, gone. Jarrell Powers, gone. Omar Graham had hit, but now it looks like Omar's staying. That's something that came out today. Omar Graham hit the portal. I had to guess that, again, I said he hit the portal because Randy's gone. And this new guy isn't Randy Shannon. My guess is that Omar hit the portal and there might not have been a market for him. So FSU kind of allowed him to come back. So that's what I kind of think that is. Lamont Green, gone. We still have, am I missing anybody, guys, from that? I don't think so. And then, of course, Luke Coleman Hope. Dustin Hill, that was a big name. Do we want to talk about the Dustin Hill thing? Because if there's one portal departure that I think kind of pissed me off, and it wasn't Luke Coleman Hope. I was upset about Luke only for the fact that the way the staff, again, played the last part of the season, you felt like they would have had a better pulse on Luke. If you were going to burn the red shirt, let him play those games, just for him to transfer, like, I don't know. Like you felt like the way the season ended, they were building for Luke and next year. Whether you thought it was going to work or not, at least that looked like the plan, and it looked like they had a plan. Now I'm sitting here going, well, they obviously didn't gauge that situation correctly because Luke's gone. Now you have Thomas from the guy got benched at Boston College coming in. He's probably quarterback one. We'll see if FSU tries to go after another quarterback in the portal. My low hope is that Jackson somehow in this Gus Malzahn offense is able to be a player in this quarterback battle. That's kind of my hope for it all, but that's probably not the case. But Dustin Hill, and I don't know, this is a guy that's speaking from the outside. I have no idea what that conversation was. I don't know if he chose to leave or if he was pushed out. Everything in me says he was not pushed out because I can only use my mind. I think I'm a fairly intelligent individual. I'm not saying the Florida school system was great, but I think I'm pretty smart. And a great saying that I like to say is, if it doesn't make sense, then it's probably not true. It doesn't make sense to me that you would wait 2.5 years or whatever it was for the young man to be able to join your team and then ask him to leave after a season-ending injury. So that I don't understand the dynamic there. I don't believe the coaches asked that man to leave. Now, he has every right to do what he wants to do. He has every right to look at the situation, and maybe he just feels like, well, in the Gus Malzahn offense, I am not going to get the targets that I potentially want, so I got to move on. I get it. But, man, is it crazy to me that I can't think of another program. I can't think of another coach. I can't think of any situation where Dustin Hill commits to LSU, Bama, Georgia, name a top program that man commits to, isn't eligible to play for 2 years, and that school honors that commitment and then allows him to come. That's crazy to me. That is crazy to me. So that was probably the only one that kind of took me by surprise. I didn't think the Dustin Hill thing. I didn't think the Dustin Hill thing was gonna be a thing, and that's unfortunate because FSU is obviously also vetting a lot of receivers in this portal and a lot of tight ends. But maybe that is the plan. Maybe with the way they're trying to get as many tight ends as they can. Obviously, then you have making Amari a full-time defensive end, which again is another head scratcher to me because we kind of did we waste a year of tight end of defensive end development by allowing him to play tight end, or dare I like? I get it. If the kid wants to play, like if he came to Florida State to play defensive end, then I guess I get it, which is weird to me. Most players want the ball in their hands. Tight end is a position where he can put the ball in his hands and actually score touchdowns, not defensive end. So for me, it's just weird because it's like you have tight ends on your roster, at least with Landon and Amari, that could be kind of a dynamic 1-2 punch why do we need to waste money? And as you see, that's the theme that I keep coming back to, guys. How we're allocating resources to me. So far, I don't know if I am on board with it. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Let's get in the comments and see what you guys are talking about. Because I said a whole bunch. So I want to see what you guys are on. So I do think the offense will be more efficient for sure. I think the offense will not look like last year's. Obviously, there's no way it can look like last year's, right? Lewis says, "I got a gut feeling it's a wrap for Norvell." It's hard for me to disagree. My mindset again, we're gonna see, and ultimately games will get played, and we'll talk about how it plays out. He says gut feeling. I kind of have the same. This to me feels like you're just watching the inevitable happen. But we'll see. If you watch both 23 and 24 film on TC, his mechanics improved dramatically. He gives us the mobility that a brand new budget O-line will require, and statistically, he has a huge upgrade over what we had. Not hard to be a huge upgrade over what we had. So, again, it's okay to spin it. It's okay to say, TC, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I'm just not. It's just where I'm coming from. There's not a lot of good feelings for me. Say the offense is successful. If the BC guy gets injured, the next guy can. I mean, any school in the country can ask that question, Galaxy. Any school. Like, any school. Like, we'll just use your team. If Cam Ward got hurt, who was the next guy up? And could he do what Cam Ward could do? I mean, y'all went 10-2 with Cam Ward. If Cam Ward got hurt, how many more games do you lose? Do you come back and beat So, that's a rhetorical question. You don't have to answer it because any school, you lose your quarterback, the question is always going to be, can the next man up do what that guy can do? So, Dustin Hill pisses me off most of the time. I'm on the side of players not owning programs loyalty now that the money is involved. But Hill absolutely owed Mike and FSU some return loyalty. Marvin Jones Jr. did hit the portal, which, again, not a surprising one because remember, I told you I did not put Marvin Jones on my list because I thought he would attempt to stick it out at, legacy. I thought he would attempt to stick it out. But the reason I'm not surprised, he left Georgia, where there was a lot of talk about he just kind of didn't fit that three-man front and standing him up. Well, he would be going back to that here. And my guess is, despite him saying he can play standing up, my guess is he didn't want to do that. That's my guess. But we'll see where he ends up. But he has hit the portal. But fit-wise, I thought he fit what the FSU is going for. So I'm not sure why he hit the portal. And some of these guys, as you saw with Omar Graham, some of these guys may very well come back into the fold. So we'll see what happens with Marvin. It's tough to come back from. Yeah, no, Tyler hit the nail on the head right there. Like, if you can tell by my demeanor how I'm feeling, but it's hard to come back from 2-10. I don't care who you are, and that's nobody's fault but Mike LeBron. Like I said, it feels like you're watching the inevitable, and it's okay to be positive. It's okay to be optimistic. I'm not knocking anybody for it. I don't have those same feelings. So here we are. Here we are. I don't know what Mike's next move is going to be. But let's talk about some of the guys that have hit the portal so far, because obviously, you know, those are the big. Julian Armella, Lamont Green Jr. Lamont Green's not a surprise to me. Body-wise, I thought it was going to be hard for him to play in this defense. He's an undersized edge rusher. It's going to be very fun to see where he might end up. I'm a fan. I wanted him to be here, but not shocking. Armella's a little, again, not shocking, but damn, I would have liked to see at least Herb get his hands on Julian and see, can he make something? Is there something there that he could coach up? But I get it, right? Julian seemed to kind of, in a lot of ways, be a bust. Hate to say it. And I really hate to say it just because he never got a chance to really see him play. Let's see, am I missing anybody? I don't think so. Grady Kelly hit the transfer portal. Okay. You know, that wasn't a guy that I was like absolutely counting on. I said that when we acquired him. So a lot of moves are left to be made that can definitely turn my opinion or the feelings around. I just have a feeling FSU isn't really in the running for any big names. And the only big names that FSU may be in the running for are guys that are coming from Nebraska's defense. Those are the only ones. Offensively, I think they're going to have to make it shake with what they got. I don't foresee like a major wide receiver target coming here. Could be wrong. I don't see it. You might get some quality or offensive linemen. You're going to have to make what you got at the running back position, which I think that is fine because I think you have the bodies there. As far as receivers go, you know, some of these young guys are going to definitely be asked to make it shake next year. Evan Cooper, the new safety coach from Nebraska. So FSU has an interesting model going on here. Interesting strategy. Let's take all the coaches from Nebraska's defense and all the coaches from UCF's offense, mix them together, and create a juggernaut of a program. That's not a knock on Coach Cooper. Not going to pretend like I know a bunch about him. I've heard a lot of good things about him. Miami native, NFL college level coach. So we'll see what he brings. Obviously, people had big time problems last year with safety play. Go figure. Adam Fuller was also the defensive coordinator and safeties coach. So it's pretty apparent. Surtain coaches corners. Cooper coaches safeties. We'll see how that mixes up. And yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on the safety coach, I guess? Supposedly wide receiver Mario Cray was supposed to be coming. I saw that, again, not an elite prospect. I think he had like 300 yards receiving. So it's a body. Again, we'll see. I know they were in early discussions. FSU was one of those Kentucky receivers. which would be cool, and I would be cool with coming over, but I think both of their receivers hit the portal. But that's kind of gone quiet. Antonio was good. John says, I never heard Grady Kelly's name once this year. Grady's too small. Waiting departure of Pat and the return to Campbell. Maybe Campbell comes back. I don't necessarily think FSU needs to go that way. I don't think FSU needs to add another running back personally, but Tyler says, just crazy. There are fans out there like, just get me 6. I told you that was going to be the case, Tyler. That's not surprising to me. I told you guys weeks ago. I said, there are going to be Florida State fans out there that are going to say, in year 6, 6 to 7 wins is going to be acceptable. Don't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me a lick. That was bound to happen. We are the only fan base that wants to that I'm not in the business of blaming fans for programs' failures, but damn it, if our fan base isn't indicative of what the program has become to this point, because we're the only fan base that'll accept some bullshit like that. We're the only ones. You won't hear a Bama fan ever say, man, just get us to 6 wins. I don't care if they went 0 and whatever the year before it. You will never hear Bama. You'll never hear it. You'll never hear it. Oh, 6 wins is cool. Get me to 6 wins and I'm back on the Mike Norvell train. Man, about to get me started. He says, why does Mike get this crazy amount of goodwill? Let's look at the records. He said, preaching to the choir, my guy. Preaching to the choir. I got a strange feeling Charles Lester might hit the portal. I hope he doesn't, but I said the same thing about Dustin Hill, and nobody believed me. I mean, we'll see what happens. At this point, I don't think you should be surprised with anybody that hits the portal at this point. Let's be very clear about that. I don't think any name should surprise you at this point. So. Polk, I see 6 to 6, 5 to 7 next year, which isn't acceptable. If it's 6 and 6, I said the same thing. Ultimately, man, I gotta wait and see how this roster is built. I'm not excited the way it's going right now, but I'm gonna wait and see what the end product is. So we'll see how it looks. Before I say I see 6 and 6, I don't know what the record will be. Let's see what pieces they put together. And see how that looks. But I'm not a fan of the guy that's going to be running the show, meaning quarterback. So there's that. What else? So we talked about the additions, of course, the portal guys, and we've had AZ decide to go pro. Jeremiah Byers has decided to go pro. Yeah. Omarion Cooper somehow hits the transfer portal. I didn't even know this guy had any eligibility left. Same thing with Darian Williamson. Didn't know this man had any eligibility left. Daryl Jackson going pro. And, of course, Joshua Farmer was the first to announce that he was hitting. So it's crazy how a week changes the vibes, because I was pretty excited the way we finished out in recruiting. And I thought that might transfer over to like the portal additions. So far it hasn't. And there's some names in the portal like, I got to circle back to quarterback because, again, while I understand Luke doing what Luke did, like the move makes sense from Luke Corman Hoke's standpoint. It really does. I continue to listen to these talking heads that talk about this program, and I get it. You can call me a talking head, and yes, I talk about this program. But it's just some of the things that these people say. Remember when I said I was all in on Jackson West? When Jackson West hit the portal, I said, like, Florida State should be calling Jackson West right now. What was the big kickback on that? If you go after Jackson West, you're going to run off Luke Cromenhoe. I would take Jackson. First of all, Jackson West has more potential, a higher ceiling. He's a bigger quarterback than TC ever is or will be. The man ran for what, $160 or whatever it was, and beat Alabama. So he can run the Gus Malzahn offense. You lost Luke Cromenhoe anyway, and we didn't give this guy a call. We didn't hit up Jackson Arnold. I'm sorry, I think I said Jackson West. We didn't hit up Jackson Arnold at all and say, yo, let me holler at you for a second. We have the perfect system for you. So I look at these things, man, and I go, what's the direction? I don't know. There's probably some better options at quarterback. I don't think the quarterback options are amazing, but that was also why I said I wanted to invest in the quarterbacks that you had on your team. And whatever you're paying TC, some people are saying it's cheap. We'll see what the numbers are. I don't know. It may have been cheap to acquire him because I'm not sure he had a ton of suitors out there for his skills. If we can establish the lines on both offensive, defensive sides of the ball, maybe ultimately we can have a decent season, and I can feel somewhat positive about the direction. But as of right now, it's hard for me to feel very positive. About where we're going. Castellanos is the closest thing to Nick Marshall. I mean, if that's what we want to compare him to, fine. Heard that there were 3 coaches that interviewed for receiver coach, but turned it down before UCF got hired. But I'm not crazy. Thoughts? That might have been the case. It may have very well been the case. I will say that the receiver coach that we ended up getting does seem like a guy that wasn't at the top of the pecking order. It seems like a safe hire in the sense of it's a guy that's going to be familiar with Gus, obviously. So they went with that. It does have that feel. TC's success is going to be based on how good the O-line is. Well, I think TC's success is going to be based on how good he is. I would disagree. It's a slower process of gaining players out of the portal than losing players. I guess I have to be patient, but only gaining a couple of players out of the portal in 4 days seems slow. It's not to me. It's not the number. To me, it's who you brought in. Your big additions are Marcus and Douglas. Whoop-de-fucking-do. And Thomas Castellanos. Double whoop-de-fucking-do. Like that's my issue. My issue isn't that they only have brought in 2. I don't know off the top of my head, but is there any team killing the portal right now? The most I've seen is teams getting predictions for 1 player. I haven't seen like a specific team that's got like crystal balls for 3 or 4 portal players right now. So it's not the amount, it's the caliber of player I think that we're kind of bringing in that is very lackluster in my opinion. That may change. There are guys that are visiting. I do expect FSU to get at least 1 to 2 of those Nebraska high-profile guys that we want. FSU definitely will probably get some old linemen. So I do think they'll be adding more guys. I'm just interested in the quality of some of these players. Yeah, the thing I hate the most is just getting TC immediately. They didn't even try to go big. Yeah. Like at least last year they tried to get Cam Ward and they kept DJU on the back burner. Like at least I can give them that credit. I don't feel like they did that this year. So it's one of two things. Either they are planning to take another quarterback if one pops up that they want, or if there's one that they're expecting, which is why they took TC for depth, because we don't know if Glenn's going to stick around, and you just lost Luke. You don't want to go in a situation where you're playing the true freshman again, right? So you bring in TC, and maybe you're targeting someone else. That's definitely a possibility. That's like the best way I can hope for, because if you're just going in with TC and saying this is the quarterback, now we're building around that, I go, oh well, you might as well be signing your own like pink slip, man. Like that's just kind of how I feel about it. I agree, Tyler. We are crystal ball for one of the edge and the other top edge. He's down to us and a couple other schools. You guys are arguing about Willie and Mike. Go for it. I'm not here to tell you not to. That's at this point, man, go for it. Do your thing. Let you guys argue about Willie and Mike. I'm not getting involved in that. I've said my piece on that already. How does TC compare to Jordan Travis? How does he? That's a great question. The battle's end broke. I don't think the battle's end is broke. I think, again, I'm curious to where they're allocating said resources. Mike is in desperation mode, maybe. Maybe he is. I don't think FSU has a problem with money. I think there's a problem with not wanting to spend the money or exceed a certain amount. If evals are horrible, other programs are taking risk. Tokar should be fired. Also, QB developer. So, I don't know, man. Am I tripping? I don't know. Am I having this somber attitude for no reason? Should I be jumping up and excited? I'll let you all tell me. I'm just not excited, man, by what I'm seeing. Again, from a player acquisition standpoint, I don't feel the warm and fuzzies. And you're going to have people that is going to come on in front of their cameras and tell you the same lies about TC that they were telling you about DJ. Who the lies about DJ last year were elite, weren't they? Not over here. Not over here. Y'all know who I wanted. But the lies about DJ were pretty elite, weren't they? And we saw how that played out. Now, I did think or suspect that I tried to paint it in a way like if you use DJ a certain way, it can be effective. I did not know at the time when I was saying these things that DJ was running a 7 flat 40. I had no idea that this dude couldn't run 2 yards in 10 seconds. So that was concerning, obviously, which completely blew up my thought process of, well, if we use DJ in this way, it can be successful. Well, when come to find out, when the man couldn't move, he moved like an offensive lineman, a one-legged offensive lineman at that. Well, my whole theory just blew up, and as you can see how that played out on the field. We're talking about Singleton from Georgia Tech. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how some of those receiver recruitments play out. That super. I think I lost connection for a little bit, but I should be back. But yeah, I hate those conversations, man, because I don't know. I have no clue on who FSU should hire or whatever. I just know if Mike Norvell has a losing season, he should be fired. Figure the rest out. Hell, nobody thought Bill Belichick would be coaching North Carolina next year. So anything's possible. And he's 70 years old. He's going to be coaching at North Carolina next year. I don't know what that looks like, but I'm intrigued as hell to see what that looks like. I am not against FSU spinning the block on Nick Saban. Like, I think that is a real possibility if Florida State wants to do that. Don't tell me it's not possible. Don't tell me when I just watched Bill Belichick get hired by the Carolina Tar Heels. So when you say who are the two names, bro, the options are endless. If you want a guy, go get a guy, like the Tar Heels did. DJ is going to be a part of the what's the group? The Bloodline. He's going to be a part of the Bloodline. I hear that. How about prime? Again, anything's possible, bro. Anything's possible. So, who knows? Deion's probably in the. I got to think he would be in the mix. But I'm not going to be on here too long. Because I kind of, I want to get out here and just get the feelings. And I feel like the chat isn't. Is there anybody in the chat that's excited? Don't let me bring you down, people. I'm just speaking my truth. Is there anybody in the chat that thinks TC's a good pickup, that thinks bringing Biscuit back can make a difference, that is optimistic that we land quality players in the portal? I would love to hear from some of y'all. I would love to hear from some of you guys. Word around the gutter is TC was frustrated with not getting the run and making him a pocket passer. I don't think Belichick lasts more than a couple years. I don't know what happens. I do think Bill Belichick is a disaster or one of the greatest coaching hires that we've seen. The reason I say that, college football is changed. It died. The college football that most of us, if you're 30 or older, I'll go with that. Probably even more so 35 or older, or 33, 30, somewhere, mid 30s. The college football game that you grew up watching is dead. It's dead, buried. It's a rotting corpse. But Bill Belichick, he's going to come in with this NFL experience on the way this NIL game's being played, and the talk that there's going to be a budget on NIL for programs. Like he was could not only coach, but the GM, he's got to know what talent looks like. I think he got a guy who's going to, in this new NIL market, he either is going to be like revolutionary or he's going to be a disaster. But I gotta believe like he's gonna have a massive budget to get done what needs to get done over there, and he's gonna hire the right guys around him. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. Not saying it's gonna work because I have no idea, but I am excited to see what it looks like. So let's see what y'all talking about. No, he says he's just happy to see something different. I hear that. I mean, I can get on that. Excited? No. Know that it can't, or at least shouldn't, get any worse. That's yeah. I hear that. I know the offense is going to improve. I think the defense is going to take a jump next year for sure. I think the offense improves by default because we just watched the worst offense in the history of football last year, like Iowa levels of bad. I think the defense is what I'm excited to see. Because I think you have real players on that side of the ball. So we'll see. Not excited one bit. Heard the same shit last year. So I'm not getting my hopes up. He says, I'm kind of excited. I want to see some change in this program. And it's happening right now. Change is happening. Now, we may not all agree with the change. To no sir, not me. To no sirs, not me point. Change is happening. Let's see how it plays out. MF is really excited about Marcus and Douglas coming back, as if he's going to be a major factor in the offense. I can agree with that, Tyler. Need to see some proper O linemen and D linemen and linebackers. Bill's going to recruit 1 and 2 stars and try to build them a championship team like he drafted players at the Patriots. I don't think I know I'm not a part of that conversation. I don't remember an FSU fan ever wanting Jimbo fired. Recall anybody ever wanting Jimbo Fisher fired. Jimbo left the program, if you remember, and he left it in a way that was unprofessional and downright wrong, in my opinion, to leave the program in the state that he left it, the way that he left it. But I don't recall anybody ever asking for his job. As a matter of fact, I think most people understood why that year went as bad as it did when you lost your quarterback and had to play true freshman James Blackman. Like, nobody was asking for Jimbo's job. Maybe I'm on the outside looking in there, but I don't recall anybody saying they wanted Jimbo fired. We were sick when he left. Like Joe Johnson says, we hated the fact that he left and the way that he left. All of that sucked. But nobody was saying Jimbo should be fired. I like Gus over Mike because Gus will try out every quarterback on the roster if it's not working. Whereas Mike is slow to change quarterbacks. That might be something positive. Good point, Panama. So we might see a Trevor Jackson. We might see all the quarterbacks get some burn if TC isn't actually working out. So we'll see. Tony says 6 to 7 wins with TC. That's the ceiling. Can I build just a college football program that just is football and pay players and don't have any curriculum and don't want a degree? Yeah, college football's gone by the way of the dodo. Do you think Marvin Jones Jr. should withdraw himself out of the portal, or do I think he should withdraw himself out of the portal? It depends on what the market is saying. So it's hard for me to say whether he should or shouldn't. I thought he would stick it out But if he's getting like heavy suitors from other teams, then go do what's best for you. We'll see. Marvin Jones Jr. could turn into, because I haven't heard anything, but we'll see. But he could turn into an Omar Graham situation where he sticks his toe into the pool and realizes that water is too cold. I'll go back in the house and try to thug this out. So we'll see what happens, man. Linebacker room definitely is a huge upgrade. We love Jimbo 12, 13, 14. We were amazing season. Everyone said JT wasn't going to work out too. Yeah, the difference was JT was in the program and it finally clicked. It definitely finally clicked. What is, I think TC has 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody can correct me. I think he has 2 years. So we'll see. If he wins 8 or 9 games, people will feel a lot more, Again, he has every right to shut me or whoever up. I'm not denying the fact. So I'm looking at Finn and Jay Noel go back and forth on each other. It's an interesting conversation. It is an interesting conversation. You're gonna have to show. I mean, I guess is that some fans that those like you were having conversations between. You got to show me the articles or where the message boards. I didn't see it. Again, everybody understood that Florida State team in 17 was ruined after Bama when you lost your quarterback. I don't believe anybody wanted him fired. Yeah, Blackman got thrown to the wolves, and that it's not even equatable to what you got going on. But I don't want to get into Mike and Willie thing and what you guys are talking about. But I hate the way I feel right now, to be quite honest with you guys. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling the direction we're going in. I'm really not. Because ultimately, man, you can bring in all the great coaches you want. This is a player-driven business. We know that. The Jimmies and Joes win you football games, not so much the X's and O's. We know that. Yes, you got to scheme up stuff. Yes, you got to put players in positions to be successful. But man, you just need the players, bro. And I'm just not excited with the players that we have that we're bringing in. Do I think we have some good young quality players? Sure. But I got to wait and see. Does the staff know what they're doing with that? Maybe the new staff absolutely does. Again, this isn't a player. This isn't a staff thing. I'm excited about the direction with the new coaches, new scheme, new things. I'm just not excited with the players that I'm hearing that we're targeting, the players that we currently are targeting, the guys that we've brought in. None of it makes me go, let's go. So that's just where I'm at, man. And so I'm just not feeling it. And one thing about me is I can't fake the funk for you guys. I'm not built that way. I can't get on here and pretend like a lot of people can get on there and they pretend and sell y'all a bunch of dreams, and I can't pretend like this is what I'm feeling right now. Is all that, can all that change? Yeah, I think of course that stuff can change. Of course we can acquire some guys that would make me, make the hair stand up on the back of my neck and things like that. It's 100% possible. But as of right now, I just don't feel that way. No, I mean, there's a positive. Like at least we don't go into the season with any expectations. Maybe we sneak up on a few teams. Who knows? So yeah, this is going to be a pretty short live stream because this is. I covered everything. I covered everything that I wanted to cover. I'm sure there'll be more additions to the portal, additions and subtractions with the portal in coming days. I probably done as far as coaches. I don't necessarily foresee I don't really foresee Florida State. Maybe a linebacker coach, but your defensive coordinator coaches linebacker. So I've kind of thought in my brain that they probably won't get a linebacker coach, but we'll see. That's maybe the only other coaching job I could see coaching change. I think they're pretty much done on the coaching side of the ball. I think it's a damn. I'm just going to say this right here. I think it's a damn crime. And people might disagree with me, but I think it's a damn crime that JP is still on this staff, quite frankly. I think it's a travesty. I think it's a damn travesty. Make my defense. I was very adamant. Make D tackles great again in Florida State. Let's make defensive ends also great again at Florida State. So probably leave off with that. Hit a couple more comments, man, and I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get out of here because I wish I just had it in me. I really do. I wish I just had it in me. It's almost like Mike is trying to survive rather than revive the talent. I think Mike's handcuffed, and not in the way that like Willie Taggart was handcuffed. Mike did this to himself. I think Mike, when you go 2-10 in the manner that you go 2-10, not only were you 2-10, which holy shit, you were unwatchable. It's not like you were an exciting 2-10 where you could like score points, but you couldn't play. Like I would have rather our defense be historically bad and our offense be somewhat decent. So at least we could score points and pretend like we were going to win football games, but ultimately our defense couldn't get stops. So at the end, we'd always lose. Like I would have loved that type of a season if we were going to go 2-10. We were historic. Our games were done in the first 5 minutes of games because we couldn't move the ball 10 yards. So Mike Norvell is handcuffed by all of that is his own doing. So there's nothing I can say. And I don't think there's anything that they can say to get players to believe other than, and I hate to say this because I believe like recruiters recruit and all that thing, but they literally have to go out next year and put a product on the field to get anybody excited because we watched that team last year in 4K. In real time, we watched that shit. That pathetic disgrace of whatever you call that. We watched that. Kids watch that. Who the hell's signing up to ever go play in that? So, they're on offense, they're going to probably have to cook with the ingredients that they have. Hopefully they can turn it into a decent meal and then up the budget, and we can eventually start getting better ingredients, because as of right now, I think they better go in the fridge and throw some stuff together and try to make it shake, as far as I'm concerned, man. But that's all I got tonight, guys. As always, short episode. I promise we'll do better. Promise I'll get you more stuff out there. I'm especially coming up in the next coming weeks. I'm gonna have a lot more time on my hands. But as always, guys, it's your boy Polk over here on 863 Seminole TV. Stay classy, Seminoles. We are out here. Hit the like button, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. Y'all have a great rest of y'all night, man.